What is a Valamilk? Well, it used to be you just got one. Now you get two Valamilks in a package, 2 chocolate cups filled with a creamy marshmallow filling. They're made in Kansas. Stay tuned because we're going to show you how they're made and where. You'll want to get some after you see this.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Sure Crop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm. We're having fun today because we're at a candy company in Kansas, yes, in Merriam. And as you can see on Russ's shirt, it's Cypher's Valamilk. And this is Russ Cypher. Hi, Russ.
Morning.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit. You are the third generation? Fourth generation.
The company was started by my grandfather in 1903 in Iola, Kansas.
And then you moved to Kansas.
Well, my grandfather joined the business in about 1916. He branched out and came to Kansas City, Missouri. My dad and uncle joined the candy company. And upon graduating from KU in 1970, I joined the candy company. And our son Dave, who runs the factory today, he's the 5th generation. We're now trying to figure out who's number 6.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the history of the company. I understand, I think from your website or something, that it kind of started as a mistake.
Yes, our Valamilk candy cups were created quite by accident by a candy maker named Tommy. In those days, we were making box chocolates, which were hand-dipped, and also making what we call penny marshmallow. You'd pour the marshmallow on a slab, let it cool down, and cut it with a big knife, and sell it in bulk or by the pieces. Candy makers in the olden days were known notoriously for taking a few snorts of flavorings, especially vanilla, because it has a high alcohol content. And according to our legend, that one time Tommy got a little bit too much of vanilla in him and messed up the recipe for the marshmallow. Instead of it setting up and being kind of spongy-like, it remained runny. My grandfather, not wanting to waste it, got some cups, put some chocolate in the cups, scooped a spoon of this runny marshmallow, put it in the cup, let it cool down, flatten out, and put chocolate on the top, and came up with what we called Valamilk dips. Later they became hand-dipped, thus the name Valamilk dips, and eventually we started using machines to make those in the 1950s. We dropped the dips and just called them Valamilk candy cups.
Now, Valamilk has a long, long history, but as I remember when I was a kid, there was 1 cup, and now there are 2.
1 cup, and the original size was 2 ounces for 1 cup. Today, we are still 2 ounces, but we put them in 2 cups. It makes it easier to eat. Plus, if you want, you could have one then, and then have one later, or you could have one and share one with maybe a grandchild. Thus, we pass on the tradition of the Valamilk candy cup.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream.
Get ready for the Kicker Country Stampede presented by Verizon Wireless, starring Jason Aldean, Trace Atkins. 4 days of camping and country music at Country Stampede, Little Big Town. The female vocalist of the year, Miranda Lambert. Country Stampede. Take advantage of our current pricing. Advanced pricing for a 4-day ticket is $135. Prices go up June 26. More info at countrystampede.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from Doc Talk, and I'm excited to team up with Vance Publishing to honor some of the youngest and brightest professionals in agriculture today. And you can help us by nominating someone you may know. If you know somebody under the age of 40 that excels in animal production or food animal agriculture, food safety, transportation, or others, you can go to DocTalkTV.com and nominate someone for this award. Help us honor those who help us feed the world for generations to come, and I'll see you down the road.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
All right, we're going to see how these delicious Valo milks are made. And the guy that makes them is standing right here. And you're what, third generation, fourth generation Cypher?
Fifth generation.
Fifth generation, okay.
Candy makers with the Cyphers family.
And your name is Dave.
My name is Dave.
Dave, the candy maker. Okay, Dave, kind of step us through the process. We're going to show this to people while we're talking about this.
Okay.
But you start early in the morning and it goes on this big machine that is behind us here.
Yeah, this is our depositor line, and that's where the candy is actually made. We start off at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we come in and we cup up approximately 640 trays that have 30 slots on each tray. And once we get those trays cupped up, then we come through and get the machine ready and run the trays through the depositor line, where on the first depositor it gets chocolate, and then it goes through a row of air jets that splashes the chocolate, which scoops it up and forms the cup shape, and then it goes under and gets the marshmallow deposited into it, and the marshmallow oozes down in there and settles flat, and then goes through our cooling tunnel, which is about 20 feet long, and it takes 5 minutes for the candy to go through from one end to the other, and the air temperature in there is about 40 degrees. And so what it does is it starts to set up the chocolate that's on the bottom of the cup, and it hardens it and it makes a shell, and it also dries and skins the marshmallow, so that when it comes out to the end of the tunnel, there's another depositor where it puts chocolate on the top, and the chocolate just goes on in a blob, and then we have employees that have to pick up the tray that's just been topped, and then they physically have to turn it and shake to smooth the chocolate and get it to cover and make the lid or the top for the Valo milk.
Wow. And how many Valo milks were made here this morning so far?
We made about 19,800 cups, individual cups, but it's about 9,500 packages, because there's 2 cups to a package.
And you started at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we started, the production started at about 8:30,
okay,
and we ran till 10 o'clock.
And looking at the clock on the wall, it's 10:30, so that's the first process. What happens after they sit for a while, then what?
Then we come back in the afternoon and we'll go through the wrapping, the packaging process, and it goes, we feed the product onto the packaging machine, and it goes through and comes out the other end. Our inspectors pick up the candies, make sure that they're sealed properly, and they put them in their little cardboard containers, and they're lidded and then put into a master case and then sealed and put into storage ready for shipping.
And ready for eating.
Ready for eating, absolutely.
Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about eating Valo milks.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
If you don't have a garden, you can still enjoy fresh vegetables by growing them in containers. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plants for your pots. Use Fertilome's Ultimate Potting Mix. Place pots in the sun and feed them weekly with Fertilome's water-soluble fertilizer. Water thoroughly when dry and watch your garden grow.
Jackson's grows over 50 varieties of tomato plants and 75 kinds of pepper plants. We'll help you choose the best variety.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. While we were watching the process here, we were talking about how good Valumilks are, and we were then also, or I discovered some other ways that people can eat Valumilks, like making s'mores. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Well, Valumilk is all the ingredients you need for a s'more minus the graham cracker. You've already got the chocolate and the marshmallow, so they make delicious s'mores. And there's other things that we've found out that other ways to eat Valumilks. We like to put them in our coffee, and that'll richen up your coffee. Place one down in there in a nice hot cup and stir it in, and it's really delicious.
Okay. Okay, now you have a website, and can you give us that website address?
It's www.valumilk.com.
Okay. And on that website, you have people that can, well, people can actually send in their recipes, other ways to use Valumilks. Is that correct?
That is correct. We take ideas that people have sent in and different ways that they eat the Valumilk, and then some of those get posted on the website. And so there's a section where that describes different recipes that other people have discovered.
Golf Week calls it the best course you can play in Kansas. But once you play, you'll want to stay. Go for it. Firekeeper Golf Course at Prairie Band Casino and Resort is just north of Topeka off Highway 75. Our stay and play package is worth the trip. Luxury hotel room, green fees, and golf cart for two, starting at just $169.
Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Go for it!
Of course, we're at the Cypher's Valumilk plant, and we're talking with the Marshmallow Man. Marshmallow. And your name really is?
I'm Don.
You're Don, okay. Well, Don, you make the marshmallow that goes in the Valumilks, that's correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do? What goes into that?
Well, first thing in the morning, I load up the cooker. This is a steam kettle type cooker. Sugar, corn syrup, water, and salt. And it cooks for roughly 45 minutes or so. And then we pour the hot syrup into these stainless steel bowls, which we then place in the tubs, which we put water in so that we can cool the syrup down. And then after the syrup is cooled for about an hour or so, I whip up the egg whites, which come in a granulated powder, and I put water in them in the morning, and they reconstitute. Then I put them on that machine and whip the egg whites, and then the syrup goes onto this machine in the big bowls, and I blend in the egg whites, okay, and whip it all together. It then gets covered, the bowl gets covered up with a plastic bag, which is seal, and then gets set on a cart, which goes into our little hot room and stays hot overnight. And then in the morning, after they run, we get the chocolate machine running. We dump the bowls of marshmallow in one at a time, and each bowl does roughly 100 carts worth of cups, and that's pretty much all I do back here. And then I also fill up the chocolate machine.
Ah, okay.
The chocolate.
Now, the marshmallow, there's something unique about that, and that's what is unique about Valumilk. It doesn't set up. In other words, it doesn't become a...
It's creamy.
Yeah.
It's a creamy marshmallow. And believe it or not, that's probably a little bit more difficult to do, because you have to get the consistency just right, and a lot of times the temperature and the humidity play a little havoc with us, but It's designed to be creamy so that it flows out of the machine, flows into the cup, and they put the chocolate cap on it, and it's creamy. So when you bite into it, it flows out. That's the appeal.
Yeah. So is there a secret recipe to that?
There is, and you can't know it.
Ah, okay. It's locked away in the vault.
Yes, it is. It's a simple recipe, but it's our, it's been the same since 1931, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's when the Val milks were discovered, and been making them ever since.
Well, we've talked to the Marshmallow Man, and in just a moment, we're going to find out about the chocolate.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
We're standing in what I call, anyway, the chocolate melter, but Dave can tell us more what this machine actually is and how it changed your job here. That's an interesting story.
Well, this is our chocolate melter, and we've had it in our production for probably about 3.5 years. And it really changed a lot of my responsibilities, what I had to do. Before, we had an old chocolate melter that was built in the 30s, and it still operated and still functioned in its capacity. It was cast iron, and what it would do is the same thing this thing does. It would melt the chocolate, but I had to come in and regulate the temperature controls by hand. It had a water jacket on the outside of it, and we would open valves and allow hot water to come in, and it would pump through the melter, the old one, and it would take it up to the melting temperature for our chocolate. Then when it was at that point, I would shut those hot water valves and then come back and open cold water to start the cooling process, and I'd have to manually regulate how long that took. I'd keep coming and checking the temperatures, and then at the end of that cycle, then I would come back and open up a hot water valve that would just trickle hot water through to keep it warm overnight. Now, seasonally, that would change because during the winter time, it's really cold outside, and it would get colder in the building as well. And I would have to come over here sometimes 2 times a night, 10 o'clock, midnight, and make sure that the chocolate was not getting too cold.
Looking after the baby.
Exactly, babysitting all the way. But ever since we got this machine in, it has computer parameters that are automatic that will automatically run through the cycles that I used to have to do by hand. And I can just basically set it and forget it, and it'll get it ready for us by the morning.
Now we're talking with Derek, and Derek, your job here is the chocolate and the production process itself. Am I correct there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, here we have the chocolate machine and stuff, where we take it and keep an eye on the chocolate temperature on there, and tells you how hot it is. And from there we go pour it into the bucket. In the bucket we timber it into the machines, the production line.
Okay, now you said timber it. What does that mean?
Timber means that you take the chocolate and you want to get it down to a certain temperature. We want like ours at 89 degrees, so it won't be too hot or too cold. Be easy for the people to work with it and other side with it.
Okay, and then and it's first in the process, and then next comes the marshmallow. Can you kind of tell us what happens between one and the other?
Well, once the chocolate drops down, it goes through the machine and stuff like that. Then the air spreads it out. Then the marshmallow drops down on there, squirts it out at equal amount all the way around. And then it goes through the line, through the cooling system. And then it goes through the next stage where they shakes it at.
Okay. Now tell us about mixing the chocolate. Does it come in powder form?
All the chocolate comes in buckets and stuff. Big 50-pound buckets like that. Take it, keep it in the cooler right there, keep it warm so they can be able to scoop it out when they need it out. This just keeps it a little warmer for us as we can use it more better.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
I'm Dennis Tebow. My wife and I, Kathy, are the owners of Wolf Creek Cattle Company. We have grown to approximately 70 bulls.
I'm Reese Arnold. I'm the livestock manager at Wolf Creek Cattle Company. You know, these are not just like normal cattle. These cattle, they're hauled anywhere from, 8 to 10 hours a day across the United States and asked to perform. The Multi-Man 90 keeps them kind of level. It maintains and balances their system. The stress level's less when, when everything's right and working right, then they're working right.
This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Okay, now, Valamilk, though, at one time kind of disappeared, and then you brought it back, right?
Well, in 1970, my dad sold in a merger to a company in Los Angeles. The concept back then was have a West Coast company, one in Los Angeles, a Midwest company, we were in Kansas City, and an East Coast company, thus we'd be national. But the merger didn't work out well. I was involved during that period of time, a 10-year period. My dad retired from the business, and I was running it, but the merger was just not working out at all. It did not pan out the way we had envisioned it to occur. And so I left the company in 1981 and ended up going to work at General Motors. And so I can say that I worked at what was the world's largest company at one time and what is probably one of the world's smallest companies today. But what happened was about 1985, I was listening to a radio show here in Kansas City, and they started talking about nostalgic items that were people loved here in Kansas City. And Valamilks came up, and oh, did their switchboard light up like crazy. They wanted to know all there was about Valamilks, what happened to them, why they disappeared. And I thought, wow, people care about our candy. Well, 2 years later, I had the opportunity to acquire the old equipment back. The old equipment was stored in the boiler room of our old factory downtown. And with that equipment, I was able to restart the candy company. And that was about 1987.
So today, you're distributed how widely?
Well, actually throughout the country, but not in all 50 states, or even all 48 states. Cracker Barrel Old Country Store restaurants takes us throughout most of the country. We're very well known and very good distribution in the Midwest between the Rockies and Appalachians, and that's a historical market for us. But Cracker Barrel and other stores and distributors have us up on the East Coast. Vermont Country Store has us. And we are in California through some Powell's Sweet Shops that are out there. So we're not quite national, but getting close to it.
Okay, one of the trademarks of Valamilks, of course, is that the marshmallow doesn't set up. So that led to what people say about it.
Many years ago, I asked my daughter, who was quite young then, when we brought the candy back to the market. I was looking for what makes us unique. So I asked Sarah, what makes Valamilks unique? She said, well, Dad, they're round. And I thought, yeah, a 6-year-old would notice that. What else? She said, they're messy, but that makes them fun. And I thought, okay, they're messy, but that makes them fun. We have a slogan on our website at valamilk.com that says, when it runs down your chin, you know it's a Valamilk. When you're a child, you're allowed to be messy. Jump in mud puddles, whatever. When you get older, teenage and in your 20s, you're not allowed to be messy anymore, except when you eat a Valamilk, you get to be that child again and let the marshmallow run down your chin.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers.